It can be so easy to just say, it runs in my family, and that's why I can't do this or can't do that or have a full, vibrant, healthy lifestyle. And yet, today we're going to hear the story of a woman whose parents didn't accept a diagnosis and a limited lifestyle for their daughter, and how she continued to seek that out as an adult. We're also going to talk about how we share those stories with organic marketing, and even how we share those stories with the community, but also with other chiropractors. I'm Jenna Quinton, host of What Chiropractic Doesn't Cure, Stories of Innate podcast, founder of Adjust Your Media, and I look forward to sharing this episode with you. So today's guest on What Chiropractic Doesn't Cure, Stories of Innate is Dr. Megan Afshar Martins. She practices in Greenville, South Carolina at Upstate Specific Chiropractic, and she works with a lot of families and pregnant women and kids. She has her post-grad certification, the CACCP, which deals with pregnancy and pediatrics. So she just brings a lot of information and experience to the families she serves. She's also a regular speaker for Dynamic Essentials and the ICPA. So I'm looking forward to talking to her today. Welcome.
Hey, thanks so much, Jenna.
So I was thinking of a story that you had told me before about a woman who had a degenerative hip disease, actually, whose parents just didn't accept that diagnosis, who took her to her chiropractor. And then when she moved, she found her way to you. I know you had said she was dealing with just lifestyle limitations, and she wanted to be able to live a full, thriving life there. So tell us about this story about Kelly.
Yeah. So she had leg calviperth that she got diagnosed with as a child. And her parents were told this is going to be very limiting. She's not going to be able to do sports. She's going to be very limited in her physical activities. And like you said, Jenna, they just refused to accept that as her final diagnosis. And so they took her to a chiropractor, and Kelly started getting adjusted from a very young age. And she went on to be a high school and college athlete. She did powerlifting, which, like, as a sport on your joints, I would say, like, oh, swimming, maybe that would not put as much strain on your joints, but powerlifting, that's pretty intense. And she just thrived. She did so well. And when she moved, she found us and started getting her adjusted. She was one of those people who never complained about anything. And so I think I forgot how extreme her situation was. And when she was actually moving again to Charlotte, so we're in Greenville, South Carolina, and she was moving to Charlotte about an hour and a half north. And we said, let's just get a video of your journey through our office. And through getting that testimonial video, I was reminded of just how serious her situation is when she came. I mean, she was just in constant pain when she finally found our office, and was having a hard time just walking, moving, standing for long periods of time. And then through getting adjusted, just like it was when she was an adolescent growing up, she went back to thriving, able to hike with her husband and with her dog, and just do awesome things that she loved and enjoy life to a degree where she did not feel like she had this degenerative diagnosis. And so, yeah, that was really sweet. And we love her dearly. Miss her and love her.
That's an amazing story, because I think it speaks to, not just the symptom aspect of, you weren't just addressing, oh, we need, to make sure that the biomechanics are okay. It was really her life. It was giving her a full life of function. Yeah. And I saw that testimonial video, and it was really moving, because it's also the thought, I think sometimes we accept things like, oh, this must just be genetics. This must just be the cards I've been dealt, or this must just be the experiences that I've had, or the career that I had, the repeated motions, like, of course I do this job, of course I have carpal tunnel, it's just the way it is. And I love it that you and other chiropractors just don't accept that for people also, that you believe in the innate intelligence of the body and the power of the body to heal. And you say that all the time to your patients.
Yeah. Something that Dean Satilli, who is a mentor of mine, chiropractor up in New Jersey, he says to his patients is when they say, well, this just runs in my family, degenerative disc disease or whatever. He says, you know what else is running in your family? Not going to see a chiropractor. And that's just such a good point. Like if your joints and your nervous system is dysfunctioning and you're going to blame it on, this is just how my family's always been, you need to look at, well, are you doing the things you need to do to make sure that they're functioning properly? Because if you're not, that might be the source of what's wrong. So I just love that he's from Jersey. So he's probably a little bit more blunt than I am. I don't know if I would say that outright to a patient, maybe in a nicer kind of hinting way. But yeah, I think it makes a really good point.
Yeah, well, you have so many good ways that you educate your patients and share these stories in your community. One of the things that I was thinking about that is really special in your office is Balloon Day and how you use that to just generate so much joy for your people. So tell everybody what is Balloon Day?
So credit where credit is due. Pam Stone McCoy, she is a chiropractor in Georgia and she teaches for the ICPA. She teaches Webster. She's phenomenal. She does it in her office. And I saw once on a Facebook post that she made like 9 years ago that she was having her annual balloon day. And I asked her, okay, what is this annual balloon day? What do you do? And then I stole the idea from her. So we modified it a little bit. But what we do in the office is we try to schedule as many people as we can on this one day. Typically, we do Wednesdays because for some reason, that's when so many of our families come in. And so we schedule a bunch of people. We scheduled I think this last Wednesday, it was like 130 people or something. On Wednesday, we fill up balloons with helium. We put little pieces of paper in every single balloon, and written on each piece of paper is a prize. And so the prizes range from like super silly things like butterfly catching nets or like silly glasses, things like that, to journals and thermoses and candles and things like that. And then gift cards to some awesome local restaurants and coffee shops that we love in the area. So there's a range of gifts. We have caught on, maybe after 7 years of doing this, we've caught on that if we make certain balloons or certain colored balloons more adult friendly. So this year, the white balloons were more adult friendly. No kid wants to pick a white balloon. They were all like, I want the pink, I want the yellow, I want the green, I want the blue, whatever. So the white balloons had the journals and the thermoses and the gift cards in it. And then the colorful balloons had the kid prizes. And if an adult picks a pink balloon, we just let them. If a kiddo, which doesn't happen, gravitates towards the white balloon, we normally say, oh, why don't you do this one instead? Because they're not as excited about a candle as a parent would be. But yeah, everybody pops the balloon and then they open up their little piece of paper and they win their prize. And it's hilarious. We'll have grown men win fairy wings and they're just like, okay, this is the prize that I won. And then go through their adjustment wearing their fairy wings. It's just the happiest day in our office. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I love that because while it is, an organic marketing idea, that's not how or why you do it. You're not doing it, oh, we're going to get so many leads and, we're going to say this in the community. You're doing it truly as a service and a joy and just a way to love on your people in just appreciation. And so I think that that's really a cool thing that you do. Also, I think that it's cool because you educate not just your community about what chiropractic is, but you also have different interns and students who come and shadow you. And when I think about you as a busy office, and all of these kids, what is just one reason why you enjoy having interns and pouring into them?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, right off the bat, I had so many people who poured into me that it is the natural response and overflow of the number of people who poured into me, which is, I mean, so many awesome mentors and people who I absolutely love. I say constantly when I speak to students, when I have students in my office, every single thing I have, like I said, Pam Stone, I stole that from her. Every single thing I have, every single thing I do, I'm not original at all. I've gotten it from somebody. I've stolen it from somebody. I've stolen, they give me everything, modified it, my paperwork, everything that we have has been taken, given to me, modified, borrowed, shifted somehow. And I tell students, if you want anything, if you want my paperwork, if you want to record like our processes or what we do, take anything and everything. Because what I was told is we will give you everything we can to help see you be as successful as you can be, because we know that you're going to go out and start changing all of these people's lives. And that's just my heart also for these students is come in, take what you want, and then use that to go out and change the world. And it's so great to just have these students coming in. That's a big part of the reason why I chose Greenville is the proximity to Sherman Chiropractic College, which is about 30 minutes from my office. So I constantly have students coming in and shadowing my office, constantly have interns in my office. And it is a tax on the office. I will tell you that there are times where it feels like a lot, especially since having kids. Having those interns in my office is like, oh, okay. But I know that it really is for the greater good. So.
Yeah. Well, I just love it because to me, it speaks to not just that you have these chiropractic stories, but that you are sharing them with your patients. You're sharing them in, how you're talking when they're in your office on social media. You're sharing the stories that happen, like Kelly's story or so many others. You share them with others, but you're also sharing them with other chiropractors, with students. It would be such a sad thing to have all of these stories just hidden. It's kind of that light under a bushel kind of a response of if something happened, if life was restored, we should celebrate it. And I love that you do it for your community and for chiropractic in general.
Yeah. And kind of on that note, when I was in school, so I graduated 10 years ago, when I was in school, the people who I really looked up to, like these women who I really looked up to, it was just kind of a different model maybe of chiropractic. So the Sharon Gormans and Kathy Colby's, who I love these women. And they really were such a role model for me. I've talked with Kathy Colby about this. I actually talked on a podcast about this with her. So this is not, I'm not saying anything that she doesn't already know, but I saw my role as a female chiropractor and maybe somebody who would become a wife one day and maybe a mom one day, because I graduated and I was very much single, started my practice very much single. But just thinking, okay, so I will get married and still be in the practice 7 days a week. I will be pregnant and work up until I'm in labor. Kathy Colby would tell stories of being in labor while adjusting. She'd like stop and have a contraction and then keep adjusting. And then she jokes, I don't think this actually happened, but just like going over to the side and just like squatting down, having a baby and then coming back. But she did come back to adjusting maybe 2 days postpartum. And that was always in my mind of like, this is what it looks like to be a successful female chiropractor. And then I get pregnant and decide, I don't want to work until I'm in labor. So I worked up until 39 weeks and then had a baby and came back at 7-8 weeks, something like that with my first. And then with my second, I worked to 38 weeks and same thing, came back at like 7-8 weeks postpartum. And just even that, like taking time to just be at home, be with my baby and realizing that I can still be serving my community by serving my own family and putting my family above my profession, which, that wasn't modeled for us when we were in school. It was chiropractic is everything. They always say God, family, chiropractic is what they always say, but sometimes it looks like God and chiropractic are up here together and family's like off the map somewhere. And I was having a conversation with Judson recently, who's a chiropractor, big, huge mentor of ours, actually is the reason why I know my husband. He officiated our wedding, love him to death. But I was having a conversation with him recently and he said, you now get to be part of this new generation of women that is showing these new grads and these new chiropractors coming in how to actually be a mom and have a successful family and a successful practice and be a successful wife, all of those things together, because you can't really prioritize one and expect everything else to thrive. Like you need to find this really good flow with things. And so for me, it looks like I'm in the office 3 days a week right now, 3 full days a week, but I'm not there 5 days a week anymore. I'm only there 3 days a week. And I bring my baby to work with me. And I have babysitters in the office who watch him while I'm working. And it's just, it works for us. It's hard. It's a stressful season. It's definitely taxing on my practice for me to not be there as much as I used to be. I've brought in, various associates through the years, and that always is hard on the office, bringing in a new doctor, but it's been really great. And I feel like I'm still honoring God, I'm honoring my family, and I'm honoring my practice as well through this process.
That is really beautiful. And I think that it is time to say those things to women who are chiropractors, women who are assistants, spouses of chiropractors who are trying to work and be involved in the office as well. Purposefully, I could have gone to a corporate job. I could have worked full time. There was an opportunity for me to be in journalism and a full-time journalist. And then they were like, well, we would actually groom you to be the editor. And I talked to the woman who was leaving the position, and she said, I don't want to spend all my Friday nights watching high school football. I'm actually going to be able to be with my family on weekends. And I was like, I don't even like football.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then,
sorry, my baby just woke up and my husband is going to go get him right now.
Yeah.
Family life.
It is so good. And that is the beautiful thing of, like you said, these stories in chiropractic, in your practice, in your family, and making it all this beautiful harmony.
Maybe, I'm going to say something that is like so not politically correct for 2024. But maybe I'm supposed to be a woman and I'm not supposed to try to live up to a man's role in a man's world.
Yes.
And maybe I need to prioritize my family. Sorry. A dear friend of mine, Ashley Felak, she practices in Greenville. I actually have two sweet, sweet friends. We're so close and we all have like the same practice. We have different emphasis on different things, but we're all pregnancy pediatric chiropractors. We all practice within like 15 minutes of each other. If we're not open, we'll refer somebody to the other offices, and it's awesome. But what she always says is, I need to find a way to make my office work for my family, as opposed to making my family work for my office. So like you're saying, maybe not working every Friday night on a job that's, an editor, and maybe that's cool, but like at what expense? Like in 20 years, I've missed every Friday night with my kids. Is that worth it?
Yeah. I think it comes back to this chiropractic idea of being aligned, and whether we think of it in terms of elements and, like, am I water? Am I trying to do something water shouldn't be doing? And am I going to dry up? Because I think of that when I think, oh, I'm burning so much. I'm actually more of a water type if we are all airbenders and firebenders and things like my kids think. And it is that if I am leading from my feminine energy, I will feel more aligned. I will feel more congruent. I will feel more centered. And honestly, probably then my atlas might actually hold its adjustment, to be honest. Other than if I'm going from this really masculine place of like, push, 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 it is going to throw me out of alignment. So
for sure. That's so true.
All righty. Well, I want to wrap it up. This has been such a good conversation for people who know chiropractic or are learning more about chiropractic. So I'm going to put in the show notes just ways that people can connect with you and find out more about you. But I appreciate you and I love you so much for all you do for chiropractic, for all you do for your community. So thank you for sharing all of this.
Thank you so much.